I get to say, well, when I saw you a couple weeks ago, but yeah, we were at a neat fundraiser with Kevin Euclid.
It was a very nice affair. Thom and I were talking about him coming to the store today, and how good he looked in the red uniform.
You are not kidding.
And you know, he makes no bones about the fact that Cincinnati's where he wants to end his career.
I know. It was so cool to hear him say that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I thought, wow, that would be pretty big.
It really would.
And I did not realize how much of a mess Sean Casey is.
Oh boy. Well, he's a bigger mess when he gets around me.
I noticed that.
I know.
Yeah. You guys like
the worst
thing
he's ever said to a human being in his life was after a game that we were flying somewhere, and he stopped at aisle 13 on our charter where I sit all the time, and he said, "Let me tell you something." I said, "What?" He said, "You're cantankerous." That's the worst thing that Sean Casey's ever said to another human being, and I wear it like a badge of honor.
There you go. Marty Cantankerous Brenneman. There you go, Sean Casey.
And he might be onto something there, by the way.
The other voice you hear, of course, is Thom Brenneman. Good to see you, Thom.
Great to see you. Great to be here.
Yeah, so now I got to ask you from the perspective of growing up around your dad and around the Big Red Machine and all that stuff. I mean, what was that like? I can't even imagine.
I say it all the time. You know, when you think about swapping places with any 10-year-old boy or now little girls are playing sports so much. I mean, when you're 10 or 11 years old, you get a chance to be on a first-name basis and actually recognize you and know your name with guys like Pete Rose and Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan right on down the line. It's not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal.
No. I think a lot of kids would like to be in that spot, so I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, I would throw myself in there as well.
I can tell. You're a hardcore fan, aren't you?
Lifelong fan, absolutely. And I'm certain that I heard, you know what, I was trying to find the audio of this, believe it or not, I mean, there's only been a handful of times that you have forgotten to say, and this one belongs to the Reds at the end of the game. And I was listed as a 14-year-old kid back in 1980, and I'll never forget, it was such a huge deal because you got all wrapped up in a dramatic finish of one of the games, didn't say it, and I think at the time Bob Trumpy had a talk show on our sister station down there, and they just got calls all day about Marty forgot to say it, so I think Joe had you start off with, and this one belongs to Reds on the next day.
Yeah, I was talking about this last night. Thom and I had an appearance in Sydney, and there have been maybe a dozen times in 38 years that I haven't said it.
Yeah.
And you know, just like you said, you get caught up in an unexpected win or something that ends the game on such an exciting note that I forget to say it. People call the radio station and say, "Is he okay? Is he going to quit saying it?"
Just one time, and all of a sudden you drop this.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I do want to ask you about that. Was that a planned out thing, or did you happen into it?
It was a couple of weeks after the season began in '74, my first year, and Davey Concepcion got a base hit in the bottom of the ninth or the bottom of the next inning at Riverfront, and I just said it. And there was no plan to end the game like that, but as I was driving back home after the game, I thought, you know, that might not be a bad idea to end every Reds win with what I said tonight. And, you know, not knowing at all that I've had the opportunity of saying it as many times as I did over 74 and 75 and 76. So, I don't, you know, you talk about legacies, and if you have one, if you don't have one, that probably will be on my tombstone one day.
Well, I tell you, I was so excited. I was shopping for Reds gear this past summer, and there's actually a T-shirt now that says, "And this one belongs to Reds."
That's where I made a mistake. I didn't get it copyrighted.
Oh, all right.
Somebody's making a lot of money off me.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we won't pour any salt on that one. But anyway, it's an amazing saying, of course, and we've all heard it. And we hope to hear it a lot this year. And how cool, Marty, for you to see Thom's career come to Cincinnati and now to the point where you guys are sitting in the same booth together.
Well, he's gone right on by me. I mean, he's a big network star, and you know, he works with Brian Billick and Troy Aikman and all these people. And you know, seriously, I never dreamed that he picked a career and he picked correctly.
Yes.
Pete Rose used to say he's got good bloodlines. I don't know about that, but he has been tremendously successful, and thank God he's back in Cincinnati. Not so much for seeing him, but for seeing my grandkids.
Ah, there you go.
Oh yeah. They come up to the booth quite a bit, you know, and they love running in the booth and sitting on Papa Marty's lap. And of course, he'll let them talk and talk during the course of the game, and they have a great time doing it.
Yeah, you can tell. And you can tell, and I love when you guys get to do, it's kind of, since Joe passed, obviously kind of several hosts have kind of come in now, and you kind of have this great pool of talent that calls the Reds games, but there's something special when you guys are on together.
It's been a while. We didn't get a chance after George Graham retired because I went over exclusively to TV, and hopefully this year that'll change and get back to doing some games again together because it is a lot of fun.
And it's great because flip on the TV a couple last week or whatever. Oh, there's Thom doing a football game. So is it hard to transition from baseball? And Marty, I know you've done basketball. I mean, is it hard to transition to another sport?
No, it's fine. I mean, we had the game last weekend, Tim Tebow, and all the excitement with him and playing so well in Denver. And I mean, it's just exciting to be there. And it's a different sort of preparation, I guess. You're only playing one game a week as opposed to every day. But man, I'm just grateful for the chance. It's fun to do every week.
Yeah, fantastic. We're here with Marty and Thom Brenneman, and we're on location at the new Kroger Marketplace in Centerville. It was about a year ago, Marty, that we were at the one in Beaver Creek.
Yeah, but I tell you what, when we came into the store right to where you all are set up to your right, and Thom made the comment, you can't even see the other end of the store. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And we've been in probably 3 or 4 different marketplace stores when they opened, as they're doing here in Centerville today. I've never seen anything like this. These people have something that they can be justifiably proud of. This is quite some complex.
Yeah, and you can tell it's the whole Kroger thing. It's a very family-oriented business and mindset, really, from the time you walk in.
Yeah, well, I've had the pleasure of having a relationship with them going back to the mid-'80s. Joe and I used to do TV commercials, and
some of the best ever.
That's another story. I mean, we had quite a time doing commercials, and then Thom has been involved with them since he's come back home, and it's just an outstanding organization with great people, and we've gotten a chance to know people over the years in the organization, and after being in this store today, I'm never going to be surprised anymore at what I walk into.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, well, before we let you guys go, we know you're doing a signing and talking to folks from 9 until 11 officially. We appreciate you coming in early. Let's hear a little bit. There's some rumblings, some things starting to be discussed about the Reds' upcoming season, but for the most part, I think everybody's hopeful.
Well, I think everybody's very hopeful, and rightfully so. Obviously, this year was a disappointing year compared to the year before when we won the division. But I think there's a lot of talent on this team and a lot to look forward to. Now, they obviously have some holes to fill, and I'm sure they're, without a doubt, World Jockey is in hot pursuit of trying to make all those things happen. I think a lot of us get impatient that it hasn't happened already or it's not happening this week because it's a winter meetings, whatever it might be. But he does have a plan. Oftentimes, it's not a free agent player because of the market size situation, but you got to find a partner to dance with if you're going to make some trades. And I think he's trying very hard to make that happen to put the team back in line to contend again for the Central Division Championships.
Right-handed power hitter or starting pitcher or both?
Well, I'll always take my chances with a starting pitcher over anything else if it's a really good starting pitcher, not some guy who's going to go out there and go 10-10 or 9-11 and have an ERA of 4.5. I mean, I think they have some guys that are more than capable of playing left field, and that's a position they talk about so frequently. But getting a bona fide #1 starter in here to go with Cueto, who's becoming a bona fide #1, and Arroyo and Mike Leake had a great year last year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be excited about. The closer situation is another one I think that would be very high on the priority list as far as what they're going to do there, because you got to. One thing to have the lead after 8, but you better be able to nail it down.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, we have heard so many amazing calls from you guys over the years, and I think of the Jay Bruce home run at the end of last season and how fantastic that was. And here's the hope that we have a whole bunch of them this year. Thom, it's very nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners out there. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, Thom Brenneman and the Hall of Famer, Marty Brenneman. We are live at the new Kroger Marketplace.
Thank you.
Marty, anytime, all right?
All right, pal. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Marty Brenneman, everybody. We'll be back in just a few on Mix 107.7.